The final events of April are coming up soon in Pokémon GO, and in this video I'm going to be covering everything you need to know to get the most out of them. Now before we take a look at what's upcoming, let's quickly recap the most recent events and cover what you might want to build moving forward. Timestamps of course are posted down below, so feel free to skip ahead to the upcoming content right now if you'd like to. Alright, so let's first talk about the Horizon Celebration event that just ended yesterday. This took place from April 16th to April 22nd. This debuted one of my favorite Pokemon from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Tinkaton and its final evolution, Tinkaton. Unfortunately, this was egg-locked, but if you were able to hatch one, this is super good in PvP right now. Ideally, you would want to mirror trade this with somebody else for better PvP IV, something with low attack, high defense, and high stamina, because from the eggs, the IV floor is going to be 10-10-10. That's not exactly optimal. Going back to the rankings though for Tinkaton currently on PvPoke, it is in the top 10 for both the Great League and the Ultra League metas, so if possible, you definitely want to build this, and honestly speaking, I'm a bit sad that I didn't get one myself. Now we also had a shiny boost on Captain Pikachu and Florigato with Lico's hat. Sadly, I did strike out once again with the cap, but I was able to get shiny Florigato on the first day of the event from the snapshots. Really happy about that one. If you were able to get either of these two shinies or possibly even the hundo, let me know in the comment section down below. Overall, this was definitely a pretty chill event. I do wish I was able to get out there and play a little bit more often, but I was able to get two shiny Florigato, so I'm pretty happy with my results. Now over the weekend, we also had Dynamax Snorlax Max Battle Day on Saturday. This was the first GMAX event where the special trade limit was increased, and given that these events always have the biggest turnout of players, it was a very welcomed addition. Now despite the online vocal opinion that the Dynamax feature completely sucks, I personally think that could be farther from the truth. This was the vision of the game that Niantic was always pushing for in my opinion, and I think they really nailed it with this. Like, the rewards are really good, it kind of incorporates the community aspect because there's no other way to do these, you can't remote them, so you have to find people in your local area. I'm probably one of the few YouTubers who actually likes the Dynamax feature, but I definitely think it has a lot of good things to offer, and it does make it worth the effort. Anyways though, going back to the special trades, I do have something pretty exciting to share. I was able to do all three of them during that event, and I actually ended up getting a Shundo Kurem. I was so shocked when it happened. Like, I saw the CP and I was like, 2042, that's the hundo. And I was like, no way, I just got a Shundo right now from this. And turns out I did. And honestly guys, if it wasn't for the massive turnout of players showing up for these events, I likely would not have gotten this trade done. So seriously, use this as a motivator to add as many locals as you can, prioritize opening and sending their gifts, reach best friends, and then aim for those lucky friends. I really do hope that Niantic or even Scopely keeps the increased special trade bonus for these events, because I could not think of a better event to actually get these done. Now with that being said, those were some positive aspects of this event, but of course there were some downsides, and specifically it was focused on the hitbox for Dynamax Snorlax. Because for some reason they put the hitbox so low, it was impossible to hit anything other than nice throws, which significantly reduced the catch rate success, and a lot of players ended up being really frustrated because they kept on losing their Snorlax, and rightfully so. I was luckily able to get all of mine, terrible IVs by the way, but I'm just happy that I was able to catch them and I can always save them for future trades. It was really unfortunate that things turned out this way because it was not a skill-based issue. Like, you literally just had to go for nice throws and that was the best that you can do. And the nice throws was the skill-based tactic. Most people weren't even hitting nice throws, and trust me, it was very difficult. If you guys actually play this event, it was very difficult to hit nice throws on the Snorlax. So that was definitely one major downside to this event. Like, if you actually put in the effort to go out to find the community to get these done, I mean, you couldn't do anything about the hitbox, and that just really sucks. Next up though, I would like to talk about Dynamax Snorlax and its meta relevance, and if you actually want to invest into this Pokemon for future max battles. So first of all, the main difference between Dynamax and Dynamax is going to be the attack boost during the max battle phase, but that boost isn't applicable to max guard or max heal. Now, given that Snorlax is going to be used as a tank/defender and not as an attacker, we need to actually compare this against Dynamax Blissey. Dynamax Chansey was added into the max battle pool about 2 months ago now, and since then I've actually been able to get a 98% IV, functional hundo by the way, because it has 14 attack, 15 defense, and 15 HP. Now, Blissey is a much better defender compared to Snorlax in general. They both have the exact same defensive stat, but Blissey has a significantly higher HP stat. Therefore, if you weren't able to play this event or even get a good IV spread from Snorlax on this raid day, do not worry about it because you still want to ideally use Blissey. And Chansey max battles are super easy to take down solo. Now following that, let's take a look at our last event that we just had yesterday, which was one of the best spotlight hours this month, and that was going to feature the Stardust boosted Pokemon Morlul. Hopefully you guys did take advantage of this event and grinded as much Stardust as possible during that 1 hour time window. Star P, Spatial Rend, whatever you had to do. I personally am going to be doing that in the next few hours, but at the time of recording this video, that event hasn't actually taken place. So hopefully I'll, let you guys know with some screenshots right now how well I actually did. But with all of this newly added Stardust, you might be eager to actually spend it on some new Pokemon. So I would strongly recommend checking out my best Pokemon to power up video for 2025. This was updated 2 months ago. And I would also recommend checking out my Clips channel for a more expansive list per typing. I just uploaded my top 10 Electric-type video a few days ago, and I'm working on getting up a video for every single Pokemon typing. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel, I would strongly recommend doing so you don't miss out on any new uploads. That pretty much covers the recap portion of this video. Next up, we're going to be going over the Sweet Discoveries event, which is going to take place from April 24th at 10 a.m. to April 29th at 8 p.m. local time. This event is going to feature the new Pokemon from Generation 8, Applin. Applin is going to have a split evolution and a future Stage 3 form or Stage 2 evolution, which is not going to be debuting during this event. That Pokemon is called Hydrapple, so keep that in mind before you actually choose to evolve them into each of their respective evolutions. Now in terms of cost, it's going to cost you 200 Applin Candy and 20 Tart Apples to evolve it into Flapple, or 20 Sweet Apples to evolve it into Appleton. Now as far as the application for PvP and raid battles, I don't think it's going to be anything special for raid battles. It could be somewhat good for PvP, but we'll have to wait until the stats come out, the movesets come out, all that good stuff. So as of right now, we don't exactly know, but we do know it's going to cost a lot of candy. And how do you actually get those Sweet Apples and Tart Apples? Well, a new feature that was debuted during the April Fool's event about a few weeks ago were items on the map that were disguised as Pokemon. Now during this event, we're essentially going to have apples on the map, which can award you with either sweet or tart apples along with Pokemon encounters, and yes, that does include Applin, but it's going to be a rare encounter. Now Mossy Lure modules are also going to have an increased chance of apples appearing as well, so similar to the bug out event at the end of March, you might want to gather some trainers together for a lure party. That'd be a good way to maybe, increase your odds of getting this guy. Now on top of the Mossy Lure module bonus, we're also going to have a few other bonuses as well. The next one is going to be 2x Catch Candy, which is always excellent to see. We're also going to be getting boosted shiny odds on Shiny Delibird and Shiny Skwovet in the wild, and then we're going to get boosted shiny odds on Shiny Delibird, Cherubi, and Skwovet from eggs. So we don't exactly know what that hatch rate is going to look like. Typically, they're not great from the egg pool, but, I'll let you guys decide if you actually want to go for those. Now, during this event, Delibird and Skwovet are also going to award berries when caught. I think this is going to be like the standard raspberry, nana berry, and pineapple berry, but you might be able to get golden raspberries as well, which would be pretty cool. And then finally, the last bonus is going to be 1/2 hatch distance on your first 3 eggs using the egg hatching widget. Now, personally speaking, I'm not a big fan of having to use this, so I'm not going to go over it in this video, but maybe some of you guys out there who do actually use the egg hatching widget can let us know in the comment section down below what exactly you have to do. Next up, let's talk about the wild encounters, and I'll try to cover which ones are going to be relevant or worth paying attention to. So first of all, we're going to have Alolan Rattata, Abra, Bellsprout, Delibird, which is going to award you with boosted Stardust, also the extra berries, I guess. We're going to have Gulpin, Bidoof, Munna, Bonsweet, and Skwovet, so nothing exactly special there in my opinion. And then for the rare encounters, we're going to have Snorlax, Shuckle, Komala, and Applin. Now Snorlax is a great gym defender. We also just recently had the GMAX Snorlax Max Battle Day, so if you do actually want to invest into a GMAX Snorlax for whatever reason, taking advantage of this event and getting some extra candy would definitely not be a bad thing. Shuckle is a fantastic gym defender. I'm always going to recommend this guy, so take advantage of this one particularly. I actually have a Shadow Hundo Shuckle that I eventually need to max out, so I'm going to continue to grind for this Pokemon during this event as well. It is a bit unfortunate that it's not going to be that common, but hey, it is what it is. And then finally, we're going to have Applin, which can only be encountered from tapping on those apples on the map. Now, I did mention earlier that we're going to have a shiny boost on Delibird, Cherubi, and Skwovet from the 7km eggs. Well, one other Pokemon that's also going to be featured from those 7km eggs during this event is going to be Munchlax. Now, unfortunately, I don't know why this wasn't shiny boosted. It just kind of made sense that it should be shiny boosted, but it's the only Pokemon in that pool that is not going to have a shiny boost. So take that for what you will. I don't particularly think these 7km eggs are that special, but maybe somebody in the comment section down below can convince me otherwise. Next up, we do have the free timed research. This is going to award 1 Mossy Lure module, 1 Tart Apple, 1 Sweet Apple, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon. I don't know if we're going to get an Applin from this, probably not though. And the reason that I say that is because we're also going to have the paid timed research for $2, which is going to award you with 2 Mossy Lure modules, along with encounters with Delibird, Skwovet, Applin, and more. And again, that's why, right? Because Applin is kind of the featured Pokemon, it's the new debut. It only makes sense that we're going to have those encounters specifically from those paid timed research. But sometimes we do get it from the free one too, it's just not always guaranteed, you know? Now in terms of shop value, I do think you're getting exactly what you're paying for with these lure modules, but in all honesty, I don't think this ticket is exactly worth it. You can get those lure modules for free from winning showcases, and you're already going to get one free one from the timed research that is free. So, I mean, yeah, you could get this ticket, it's $2, it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, you could probably skip it. Now, additionally, on top of that, we're also going to have new avatar items, which is going to be the Applin headband along with the Applin apron. These new items will become available in the shop moving forward, so if you ever want to purchase them, they're always going to be there. Next up, let's cover the legendary and mega raids that are going to be featured during this event. So first of all, we're going to have Cresselia available until May 1st. Now, Cresselia is going to be relevant in the Ultra League meta, currently ranking in the top 30 right now. You're also going to want to mirror trade this with somebody else to get a better IV spread, ideally for PvP. Cresselia does have some relevance in the Open Great League meta, and technically you can get a low enough CP if you reroll the IVs from a trade, but you have to get really close to the floor, and honestly speaking here, I would just focus on the Ultra League spread if you really want to get one for PvP. Now as far as the Mega Raid option goes, we're going to have Mega Mawile available until May 1st as well. This has a dual typing of Steel and Fairy, and it's mainly going to be used for candy farming during certain events. It doesn't really have any meta relevance as a Mega. Technically, you could get a Great League IV spread and then also use that as your Mega. That'd be the best way to get dual functionality out of this guy, but otherwise, I don't know, I wouldn't really go too hard on this. Just do the raids for the Mega Energy, and then that's pretty much about it. Especially if you don't care that much about Cresselia, then I would definitely take advantage of at least a few Mega Mawile raids. Now, we don't have any good Pokemon available in max battles currently. We do technically have Charmander, which I guess you could do for just some extra candy farming, but the main max battle Pokemon to take advantage of is going to be Dynamax Entei, featured over the weekend. So let's talk about this guy. Basically, this event is identical to the Raikou max battle weekend we had back in March. So for the bonuses, you're going to get the MP collection limit raids from 800 to 1600. You're going to get 8 times MP from power spots. You're going to get 1/4 adventure distance for MP. So basically, instead of walking 2 kilometers to get 300 MP, it's only going to be 0.5 kilometers to get 300 MP. You're also going to get a 3/4 cost to power up and unlock max moves during this event, which I think is fantastic. Seriously, take advantage of that bonus. You guys do not understand how expensive some of the, better ones can be. So something like Toxtricity, getting that discount really helps a lot because that Pokemon is not very common. Now, paired together with all of that, we're also going to have a timed research, which is currently available right now, and that is going to award you with Dynamax counters for Entei. I believe it was focused on Sobble, so that's going to be the featured Pokemon that you guys are going to get your hands on. And, basically they're pretty easy to get done. I do have some tips and tricks I want to go over in regards to that timed research, so let's talk about everything right now in regards to this event. There is no set event hours like we had for Gigantamax Snorlax. Entei max battles are basically just going to be featured the entire day on both Saturday as well as Sunday. This doesn't mean that every power spot is going to be Entei, but most of them should be, and I believe they reset about every 30 minutes. Now, because these are going to be Dynamax legendary max battles, this also means you're going to be in groups of 4 max. These are not Gigantamax raids, and there's a big difference between the two. So having good counters is going to be really important, but it also means that the difficulty is going to be lowered compared to Gigantamax, for example. So you can definitely get this done with about 2 to 3 players. That said though, I would strongly recommend checking Campfire to find your closest meetup group because that's just going to make things way easier. Now additionally, if possible, I would also try to complete the timed research leading up to this event like I talked about earlier, but do not claim the MP from that research until Saturday or Sunday, after you've done all of your max battles. There are definitely some clever strategies to maximize your MP past the daily limits, for example getting close to 1000 and then redeeming the walking reward for an extra 300 MP. If you set this up on Friday and then go into Saturday with roughly 1200 MP stacked in there, on Saturday you can claim up to 1600 MP, and if you have the stacked MP from the timed research, you're looking at a minimum of 5 Entei raids completely free to play. So that's pretty awesome, right? And even though Dynamax Entei isn't going to be ideal for max battles because Gigantamax is always going to be better, so looking at Charizard here, that's still going to be the best of the best. This is still going to be a great way to potentially get a shiny legendary, and who could really say no to that? I do also want to remind you guys that getting these Dynamax legendary Pokemon is also great for dropping them in power spots because then you can farm candy for free, and that means you don't have to use your rare candy. Like, I've been farming candy on my Moltres for quite some time now, and it's pretty crazy because I've actually accumulated up to 100 candy specifically just from farming them in power spots. That's pretty good if you ask me. In my opinion, I think the system is really great, and anybody who's sleeping on it is really doing themselves a disservice. Now following that, on Sunday, we're going to have the Vanillite Com Day taking place from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. We're going to see increased encounters with Vanillite like normal. We're going to get the boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25. We're also going to have 3-hour lure modules and incense like normal. The special bonus is going to be 3 times catch experience. Now to my knowledge, if I am remembering this correctly, Vanillite is a very difficult Pokemon to land Excellent throws on, so this might not exactly be optimal for this kind of event, but hey, if you want to take advantage of that increased experience, make sure to have some Lucky Eggs active. We're also going to have 2 times catch candy, a 2 times chance to receive extra large candy from catching Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. I'm pretty sure this Pokemon isn't going to be applicable for anything level 50 related, so I don't know if you'd really need to focus on that too much. We're going to be able to do 2 special trades during this event. This bonus also lasts until 10 p.m, so about 5 hours after the actual event ends, and then every single trade that you do is also going to cost 50% less Stardust, which is pretty nice. I definitely like that bonus, because if you want to trade like a new shiny, for example, instead of 40,000 with a best friend, it's only 20,000. That's a big deal if you ask me. Or maybe not a big deal, but you get what I'm trying to say. The Stardust savings are nice. And then finally, we're going to get 5 free Vanillite from Snapshot. So basically, all you need to do is just take a picture of your buddy Pokemon, back out, and the encounter is going to appear. Rinse and repeat that 4 more times and you're good to go. Taking a look at the special Com Day moveset, we're also going to get Avalanche on the final evolution. I have a really tough time pronouncing it, so as always, if anybody can actually help me out with the pronunciation for the final evolution for this Pokemon, I would really appreciate it. That said though, when it comes down to meta relevance for this Pokemon, it's not exactly good or worth having for PvP or even for raid battles, even with this moveset. So, I mean, looking at it, it's definitely going to be a really chill Com Day. Probably something you only play for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I think that's perfectly fine. Not every event has to be like super intense, and I think having a chill event at the end of April is not a bad thing. Now we do actually have one more event taking place on the 29th of April. That's going to be Abra Spotlight Hour with 2 times catch experience. Now when evolved to Alakazam, this is going to benefit from a Mega Evolution. Currently, this is actually the best Psychic type Mega in the game until Mega Mewtwo is eventually released. I'm predicting sometime next year during Go Fest, so for the 10-year anniversary. So if you are one of the few people who do want to play this Spotlight Hour, I would recommend Mega Evolving a Psychic type during this event to grind out the extra large candy. Otherwise, that's pretty much everything in regards to April. There are some pretty good things to pay attention to, some things that are maybe not worth paying attention to. I do expect the May details to be announced very soon, so you guys can expect a video covering all of that in maybe like the next week or so. For now, best of luck out there during these events, and if you guys want to know what are the best Pokemon to power up and lucky trade, then check out these videos next.